Hello, my name is Clayton Solomon, and I am going to be showing you how to install a virtual machine. Right now, we are using Oracle VirtualBox, which is a great tool. It's free offline that lets us host like virtual machines inside it. Um, and so we're going to be making a new one and a practice one to show you how you do it. Over here on the right, we have our some file management. In it, I have my Windows 11 stuff and my Linux and Ubuntu, which is all this stuff. We have ISO and OS, and this was one of our other practices, vlogs. Um, so on our side, that has our ISO image, right? And then in there, we have our other, one of our other virtual machines. So we're going to create a new virtual machine, and to do that, we're going to go up here and hit New, and we're going to name it like Linux Practice, right? Oh, I can't spell. Practice. Okay. We're gonna, yeah, Linux Practice. Now, this is important. We want to make sure it's going into a good proper file. So we're gonna do other, we're gonna desktop or whatever. Go to file management, and we have all this good stuff. And we're going to create a new one, and we're going to, I think it's new folder, and we're going to practice vlog. Yeah, practice vlog. We're just gonna like two. I don't know. Okay, click this one. Select the folder. So now it's all the stuff from our virtual machine is going to go to there. Now we need our ISO image. So we're going to click here, other, and it already pulls up because I've done this before. But where we find this is, as I showed earlier, we have it in our file management and all this stuff in our this, and this is the image. Do that. That's free offline. You can get it. It's a free. We're allowed to mess with it and do all that stuff with it. Open source and all that jazz, which is pretty cool. Now we're going to go to our unattended install. We're gonna name it. We're gonna give ourselves a username. Practice vlog. Practice vlog. Sure. Um, Password. We're just gonna do 123 because doesn't matter as of right now. If you do make one, you probably don't want it to be 123. You want actually good like passwords for your thing. So host name, it doesn't like how we have it like that, so we're just gonna practice. So we kind of it doesn't like the capital letters and the spaces, so we have to kind of do that. Then we'll give the domain name the same, and hardware. Now this is a really important step, and you really want to understand your system's everything, your system's whatever. So in our installed RAM, so the installed physical memory we have, random access memory, we have 32 gigabytes. At least I do. And then in our, we have 6 cores. So we have like 6 CPUs, which is important for how the machine works and runs, and how the virtual machine uses its cores that our physical hardware has to use that in an isolated space. So we're just gonna give it like, I don't know, a good chunk. And then we're going to give it 3 CPUs, about half of what I have, and it's only accessing when it's on, so it'll be okay. This is the space. Now we want to go to the storage. We want to go to storage, and we want to see how much we have left. So free space, I only have 576 gigabytes left, which is a decent amount. So we're just gonna give it like 100 gigabytes. Oh, and it started. So now that that's going, that is starting up and running. So that'll, well, while this runs, I'm gonna talk to you about more what a where is it? I'm gonna talk to you more about what are some of these things I'm talking about. So hypervisors. There are two types. There are a couple types of hypervisors. There's mainly two. The type 1, which is a bare metal hypervisor, it runs directly into the host computer without an underlying operating system. So it like uses the it doesn't use the PC's whatever. Now, so with the type 2 was the one that we're doing, is hosted hypervisor. Wow, that was loud. Okay. Anyways, while it runs, While it's booting up over here on this side, we're going to use the type 2, so that's what we're doing. It runs on top of the host operating system like a regular application, as in it uses the host's RAM and CPUs and all that jazz. Um, so some of the examples are V malware, workstation VirtualBox, which what we're using. Yeah, key features are they isolate. So the cool thing about virtual machines is they're isolated completely off your computer, so you're able to run things inside it without affecting your physical computer and your space, like all that jazz, which is really cool. So now we're going to talk about some computer hardware that our virtual machine could be using. So the CPU, which is basically the brains of the computer, right? So there's a lot of stuff with how it works. You're welcome to read this. I'm not going to go through and explain how CPU works and all that stuff, but yeah. So the computer has CPU acts as the brain. We're giving the virtual machine access to the CPUs to use as its brain. Now, RAM, so random access memory, which is also what a computer needs to run. It kind of stores information for a short bit of time so it can access it later. And you have to give it to you have to set a set limit of it for the virtual machine so that it can use that and, I guess, have that access to how a computer works, right? There are a couple different types of RAMs like this, and the static RAM and dynamic RAM. The different sizes, 4 GB all the way up to like 64 and whatever. So typically, 16 or 32 is plenty. Now, different types of hard drives, so how things store information, right? So there's the hard disk drive. Okay, I can't speak. So basically, it's a physical kind of thing that it's slower, but it has read and write technology where it basically uses a head to scratch and engrave stuff into the disk, and it actually reads it off. But it's slower, but it can hold a lot more space, and it is typically we don't typically use it as now because we have SSD. Solid state drive, which is flash memory, no moving parts. It's much faster. It has it's more expensive, but it's faster and all that stuff, which is what we need. It's more durable, which is cool, and most things use it, like phones and laptops and all that stuff. So, anyways, that's some cool stuff about virtual machines and all that jazz. And what's cool was we are using this Oracle VirtualBox, which is just kind of like house our virtual machines, and we can see how you're able to make snapshots of it, which basically is like a so when you upload something and say you install or run something that damages your computer, you're able to go back and revert all the damage that happened if you make a snapshot. It's like a save state or like a checkpoint, I guess. So like if you die later, you can come back to it, and you're able to do that by just hitting take, and you give it a name and all that stuff. So now my the virtual machine that I just run is still trying to set up. It's going a little bit slow today, but it'll get there eventually. I'm trying to see if there's anything else I want to tell you about virtual machines. Well, I can tell you about the host some more stuff with CPU, RAM, and access memory. Let's go to some virtual machines. What is this? Okay. Virtual machine is a software-based emulation of a physical computer. It runs off an operating system and the application is just like a real computer, but it also is hosted on the physical memory. Typically, they're used for testing software, running different operations, and servers. Benefits: isolation, flexibility, and able to run multiple VMs on one physical machine. So you can have like more computers on one computer, which I think is super cool. So yeah, that's kind of cool. It's also really beneficial to running like different OSs, different like operating things. Like if I want to like have like Linux and Windows on the same computer, I'm able to run a Linux like operating system on my Windows computer, which is super neato. You can also transport them pretty easily, which I think is super cool as well. Okay, it looks like my computer is starting up a little bit, so that's kind of cool. It's probably going to ask us for like all the information that I said earlier, like username and password and all that jazz. So yeah, we're really just waiting for it to boot up, and then once it boots up, I'll get back to you. Okay, it looks like we are in now. So now we're gonna put our password, which is 123. Again, you're gonna want to do a little more high-tech password later. Um, and here we are. So virtual machine is not a computer, so it's based like a computer. You're able to sign into like Google and all that jazz, Microsoft, and you're able to run it like a normal computer. And we're not gonna just gonna skip all this stuff. Next. Oh nope. Okay. Oh well. Anyways, you can do stuff. It comes pre-installed with like things like VS Code, Zoom, Spotify, and all these other fun things like GIMP. You can also install applications and run things. It has solitaire. That's kind of fun. And it works like a normal computer. I'm able to use like search anything and all that jazz. Firefox, and it loads up pretty smooth. And yeah, all this is fun. So it's like your own computer in a computer, which is cool. Now, when you shut down things, you want to make sure you shut them down the proper way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna not just turn the PC off, and we're gonna have to go up here and we're gonna power off and log out, which is important. And so yeah, that's how you start up and install and get your virtual machine going. Thank you for listening. My name's Clayton Thelman. Goodbye.